after a long couple of days, couple of hours, whatever. It feels like it's been about 10 hours of work. I have a couple years, 5 years worth of memories from this car with pictures and all sorts put together into a document that I'm now going to have to compile into a video, finding those pictures again to have the quality there to put the video together. And over that 5 years, I've seen so many things happen to this vehicle and change about it, and I've learnt so much from my experiences, and I realise the ups and downs I've had with this, and I know in its prime it looked really good and there wasn't this cracking of the vinyl wrap. So what I'm aiming to get out of this is I'm aiming to try and say thank you to this car. I want to share the memories that I have of this car that no one knows about, that I haven't released, and I'm feeling inspired to try and do this alongside so many other projects, and this is one on my top priority list at the moment because, you know, the crisis is not giving much people hope, and I actually have sort of found the transitioning point between these and those rims. And I know how those rims look when I got them, and all the kerfuzzles. There are some things that I couldn't find, but that's okay. I'm not going to panic about it, but I do have a lot of memories of this vehicle. There is gaps which I can't fill, but there's also gaps that have been filled, and most of the memories with this vehicle have been the courier journey, surprisingly. There's been a lot more pictures with the courier driving because you'd be taking a picture of every load just about, but unfortunately, from the transition over from my old phone to my new phone, the settings switched and it didn't save all the pictures, so every picture I took only got sent and I never got to keep a copy of whatever I was taking pictures of. So for instance, the damage done to my vehicle, I don't have picture evidence of that other than the one where there's a picture of it holding in your hand somewhere, and a bunch of other things. But anyway, to update you on the video, I have some pictures missing recently, so I feel like I wonder where they are. So I'm going to have to pull out my Sony camera, which is now a little bit broken, and I'm going to have to see if I can hook it up to the computer and do some uploading onto my computer of those images that are missing. So it's actually my fourth pass looking for pictures. And alongside that, I've also been doing some other things with those pictures as well. So it's my next, I'm on my next pass, so it'll be the fifth pass, I think, or fourth pass, looking for pictures, and it will be done. It'll be time to put the video together. But anyway, other than that, most of the parts have been sort of clean, but as you can tell, it's not perfect because that's an oil pump right there. This has gears in it, and that's where the balance shaft goes, that goes the opposite direction to the other one. I still haven't replaced that seal in there, but that's okay. It gets done last on reassembly, so I take that one out and put it on when we've got the motor. We have this thermostat housing thing which is just broken, and we might get a new one, but we also might not. We might use the one off the Triton MJ. And I'm also going to be hunting down another gear. Now this gear that I'm going to be hunting down is for the injector pump, because I've got two injector pumps, but I might even eventually get a third that's a blueprint based one. It's $1,300, but you pay a deposit until the core arrives. I don't know if I can keep the third one, but the idea is you at least have a spare. I mean, it will be incompatible with all the diesels around here, so we will have potentially turn the Tata into a Mitsubishi diesel-based vehicle, so it will be drivable, and the parts will be replaceable. Who knows? But I've got a lot of things in bits and pieces. As you can see, the shelves, pistons, the sump is in there. It's a bit filthy. It needs to be cleaned up. And the pictures I was missing are actually of the block. The block was here at one point, and the block was also on the stand. But I don't have any pictures, which is annoying. Because most of the time when I do things for you guys, when I make these videos, I normally do it for myself as well. So when I do it for you, I'm trying to make some content for you guys. When I'm doing it for myself, it's to avoid having to do all this photo editing and stuff, because I'm a bit lazy when it comes to that stuff. And since I'm a one-man team on everything I do pretty much, makes things a little bit difficult. There's just too many things to do on my own, that one day things might change. Now, I will note, I have this box of the greaser here because I've used half of my dad's supply he just recently got, and I had to pinch that, so I was like, I'm going to get some more and replenish what I've used and keep the rest for this. I also swapped out a can of paint, so my pictures aren't going to be accurate. Red paint for a can of black engine enamel, because I don't think I'm going to use the red on this new one. In fact, I'm not. And the colours that Cat use primarily are yellow and black. It looks like the Cat colours, and I know it's a Mitsubishi. I know people who are fans of Cat are going to hate me for this, but I just felt like going with that vibe. We have a D2, I think, up at my grandparents' place, which is essentially a Cat. From what I can remember, it is a Cat motor, and it is a Cat. It's a Caterpillar, okay? That's what it is. It's called a Caterpillar. It's a bulldozer, but it's a Caterpillar. And so when I heard that's the D2, and then I read on the side of my block on my engine that's a D5, I'm just thinking of that memory, and I'm tying it together, and I'm like, I'm inspired that I just want to use the Cat colours on the new motor. I'm going to keep the red one red, blue one's going to stay blue because it's Dad's motor, and I thought, you know, I want to make it the Cat colours, because the D2 and the D5, if they were made by the same people who made the Caterpillar things, that would be amazing, but I don't think that's true. I think it's just D5 on the block. It's Diesel 5. I don't know what it means. But it was just that memory I wanted to tie together. People want to get upset about me using Cat colours on this motor. The reason I'm doing that is because we have a D2 up the farm. That's a Caterpillar. So essentially, this has got D5 on the side of the block. I want to make it resemble that memory. So it's something that I can tie to, and I really like that idea, even though people won't, because it's Mitsubishi's engine and it's not made by Cat. Could buy some original Cat paint, then it would be made by Cat. So anyway, I've cleaned the crank on one pass. It's fairly decent. A lot of crud was coming out of the lobes down this end. This was also the end that had the most wear, I believe, that I could find. There was still particulates in the engine, as you can probably see. This, I don't even know what this material is, but this was in the engine. That little bit of crud I'm going to put back down. And I don't know what those materials are, whether they're foreign stones or that's metal. And I can actually identify if it's metal or not, and what type of metal, in some cases, by getting a magnet. That is my solution to all my problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify which ones, this is a clean magnet, so which pieces, I wish I could do this a different way, but which pieces, oh, look at that. So the other one is something else. It's either a foreign rock or something else. Oh, be careful, that's sharp. So this bit, these little bits of crud there are steel. So I don't know, that could be rings, it could be the gears in the oil pump. I'm just thinking about every moving component in the engine that's internal, not external, because external isn't going to have a correlation to how it got into oil. It could also be from the top end, because I've smashed top end before, but there isn't really anything that's steel up the top end that would break off and go into the sump. Rings tend to get chipped a little bit, but I think the rings are perfect on this engine. So what else? There's the gear sets that are for one of these that have one of them just gets driven by the belt, The other one has a gears set of teeth in there, and if I have a problem with that, I'm going to have to find a way to fix it. What else? There's the oil pickup here. That stops quite getting through, but it's still dirty. And I think I'm going to have to clean this again. So it's like, this is how I operate. I do a first pass, and then I do another pass if I have to. I do as many passes I have to until things are clean. And then the final pass is if I am painting. So if I'm painting, I'll do a final pass on this. So I'll be using something like this. And the reason I'll point this out, there's actually a cheat to why you use a low gloss black or a matte black. Now, people can only really buy glossy stuff, but the reason that a non-gloss is good is because when you have an oil leak, it blends in with the gloss, whereas if you have a matte black, then you'll see how it's running, and it will actually help you identify where your leaks are. Now, with diesel, the best part about this color right here is black stands out on top of it, so if there's an oil leak, you're going to see it from a long way away. Same with any other random colors. So if I have a red, you could see that as well. But this, I found, gets dirty really easily. So the colors, they do work. They do help. Even if people don't like me going with the cat color scheme for my new engine, there's a benefit to me using that color scheme. The fact that yellow will show where the leaks of oil are. However, I know people are probably going to point this out. Yes, it's true and false at the same time, because oil is pretty much the same colour as that. So we're just going to have to wait and see how that goes, and hopefully it will pay off. Hopefully, I hope. Fingers crossed, guys. So I also have my primer, because I've had problems in the past with painting blocks, painting parts, and the paint just flakes off. So to avoid that happening again, I'm going to prime my engine's surfaces. I'm then going to paint those surfaces, and then I'm going to throw a clear on there, and hopefully it will not flake ever, because yeah, that's the thing I want to point out. So I'm going to also ask people in the community right here, right now, because I'm going to be looking for some new gears. I know what people might be thinking is like, oh, you don't need many gears, but this is a round tooth gear, and I can turn these gears into, I can take the square cut Pajero gears, turn them into round tooth. They're about $40 cheaper for the belts through Super Cheap Auto, but the belts are really expensive on the Pajero opposed to the round tooth in general. So it's one of those things. My dad's trying to tell me that the round teeth is better, it's less friction or something. I don't think that matters in this instance. Also, square tooth might be stronger. I think this one would just roll off smoother, there'd be less sound, so it'd sound nicer and quieter, wouldn't sound as rough. So that's, I think, what the idea of the round tooth is for that refinement in technology that makes it better. So if I wanted to do that, I'd have to replace these, because these would be square cut too, I believe. I'm just going to double check that. So these are square cut. Oh. Yep, square cut gears. Now, because of how much material is on these, I cannot machine these. There's just too little material there that it would not work. It would just cut right through the meat. There's not any meat there. I cannot convert that to round tooth, unfortunately. I have to make new ones up. I reckon the same would go for this one too. Yeah, there's not really much metal there. So I can turn these ones. Look how much metal is on there. There's so much metal. I can turn that. I can turn a square tooth into round tooth. Then I just need one for here. That's square tooth. And then I could potentially say, hey, you know what? I could do a hybrid. I could have a square tooth internal, round tooth external at this point in time. But I would like to have a full set of round teeth ones. That way, it will be the cheaper belt set instead of the more expensive one. I also have to find out. We had 2 boxes of belts, and I want to find out. if I can be super sneaky, if there's anything there of value still to me, because I don't know if I bought one and Dad bought one, or if he bought both of them but failed with one of them, because that's what Dad said to me. Oh, look, we just bought you a spare box of seals and stuff now. So that's probably the Pajeros one, and that's the seals. I bought new seals already, and these come with the seals. Bummer. Didn't need seals. If only I knew that. If I took that into consideration. So I believe this is also a round tooth one. So if this is, I might have to see with Dad if he paid for this or not. I'll have to find out. And if he paid for it, I'll pay him back, because these are round tooth, so I don't have to buy belts. I just have to buy the tensioners. And look, even more. So if this is what I think it is, I'm just going to pinch this. This is mine now. Thank you, Dad, for nothing. I can't even use these. So the idea, yeah. So if I can get the new set of gears, I can then use that belt set. No problem. Put it on, and away I go with that. I'll pay Dad a little bit of money for them. Give him $100 because they were cheaper belts. Unless I paid for them, which I don't believe I did. I don't believe I paid for them at all. So that's something I'm going to have to look into. Now, I don't know what's coming over here. Aha! That's right, I know why I came over here. Because he was going to put on one of these belts. So we actually have a spare actual timing belt. And guess what? It's this belt style. Round tooth. Now, I'm going to point this out. I think I paid for this one because Dad paid for stuff and now I'm paying him back. I got to find out what I owe him. Why the round tooth? I'm trying to think. Did I pay for that kit or did Dad? Because I remember I bought the kit for the tensioners. I did buy that kit. Okay, that's my kit. Round tooth kit is mine. I paid for that. And then Dad bought his own, but something went wrong. I don't know the exact scenario, though. I can't remember. It's too long ago, but that's sort of roughly what happened. I don't remember, so it's inaccurate information. Now, I don't know what's to happen next. This all is going to get cleaned up. I actually like reading this box. It says Tahoe. Because there's a few YouTubers I still watch, and they have Tahoe on their mind. Rebuild the Tahoe. I also have parts on the ground that I'm going to have to work with, so I've got a long way to go still yet. I still have some more parts I'm going to have to order, buy, depending on what I'm doing. But if I can get my hands on another set of teeth, but from a round tooth, that would be good. I think those gears I can still get, and they're pretty inexpensive for the balance shaft. But the whole gear set, brand spanking new, is about $1,000, and I don't have $1,000 for brand new gears, if they even have them, that is. So I know why I'm not shutting the shed. It's been a good video thus far. It's been a bit interesting. I've got some cleaning to do. That's probably going to get painted, or not. I'll find out soon enough, or later. This is mostly Dad's stuff, and I'm going to have to figure it out later. Grease has to go away. This has to go in the house. It's my receipts. It's here. I'm going to replenish what we've got stocked so we don't run out. Or better still, just keep the box and say that's mine. So what I'm going to plan on doing as well, besides working on cars, I haven't actually been looking after myself for many, many years. I still am wearing raggy old shirts, unless it's work shirts or my nicest shirts, which I don't like wearing because I don't want to ruin them. So what I'm going to be doing this week, when I get my next check payment, I'm going to actually buy myself some nice clothes, something decent to wear around the house that I'm not worried about ripping. It's not expensive, something I want to wear rather than something that's like put it in the cupboard for sentiment, and that's it. Also, I haven't mentioned this, I've I didn't think I did it last video, but we've actually been growing our own vegetables and stuff, so it's all coming up. These are 12-year-old seeds, and they're coming up. How amazing! And so they're pink, they're purple cauliflower. This is kale. That's parsley, but there's... Oh, here we go. Parsley's coming up. It's only come up overnight. Shoot. So stuff is actually starting to come up. Now, what's this one? This is onion, but I don't know if anything... Oh, seed? Onion? I think my mum said that's not onion. Onion looks different. She said it's a weed. This is meant to be spinach in these. I don't see any sign of life. Oh, there we go. Sign of life. There you go. And I think Mum said that's a weed as well. This is meant to be fennel in here. There is no signs of life yet. And this is carrots, but this should take longer because the seeds are still on the surface for some reason. Mum washes them off all the time with the watering can, so don't know what to expect. Whew. I'm feeling horrible. Another project we got is repairing this. Now, the base frames are over there where the engine is. It's side jobs on each other, so Dad has to order material so we can repair this, but I don't think he's going to do it. And the wind noise is going to be ridiculous to talk over. So, anyway, we got to repair this so Mum can use it again, and that means we have to buy the material. Mum wants me to build a gate, but we need some mesh, so I've got to go hunting for some nice mesh. This stuff here is, you know, you have to climb over it, and then you have to unwrap it if you want to get out. And we want to put a gate on here. We want to fence it off like we have there, like we have the chicken yard, whatnot. We also have this patch here which is full of garlic. I think we're out of garlic cloves to plant. Mum took half of the garlic cloves we had. They were germinating and planted them. And we still have all this extra land here to fill. And that's where those seedlings come in. They're going to go all over the place here. Hopefully a good distance apart. A few inches. And they should come up nicely. And we got a sprinkler that I had to fix and adjust to get them working. Here's the chooks. They were eating all the parsley and all the greens. Hello girls, how are you doing? There's their food. This all has been dug over except for that third section over there because it's a lot of work and it's all weeds over there. We need to get rid of them. So that. Then we have a fig tree here for some reason that comes up. We chopped one down there. I don't remember where we chopped down the other one. I think we had one here before. I don't know. But we do have this mesh. This is actually originally a hospital bed. So that's what this is if anyone's curious of where this material came from. This is what my dad used for his planting bed things. But I don't think we're going to use them again because the metal is horrid, it's rusting, it's not good anymore. And if we reuse old materials in this case and scenario and don't do this properly, it will rust out again because we have constantly there's water dripping. And the cage mesh is better than solid flat steel planes because solid planes will just hold the water, and when you have the mesh, the grids, water will just drip. And you can see it is still dripping a little bit underneath. You can see the water where it's built up along the edges. It builds up around these pipes while there's green stuff. So there's a lot of work to do. And then we have all this still left to clean up. Our yard is like full of parsley when this stuff is green. And we have so much parsley we couldn't do anything with the parsley. So that's all seedlings that do something with them. Yeah, and we have the fish pool, we have the fair lane. That's, in this case, in this point in time, the fair lane is not a going project because it's expensive. From what you can tell of what I've been doing, how long does it take me to do a project? And if you knew how much income I was getting and knew how much I had to spend, this is one of the cheap cars to repair, get parts for. If you know where you're going, because these pistons, this stuff here, if I bought the pistons and the rings from any normal store, like Supercheap have them online, guess how much it would cost me? It cost me $800 for that assembly. You want to know how much I paid for the pistons and the rings? Take a wild guess. It's about 130 and 140. That's $270 for the whole lot. So I do not have a fourth piston here because I gave it to the engine recon guy because I want him to make sure that block is right, make sure the parts are right. I said, if you have to oversize, I'm happy with buying another set of pistons, but please order them. That's what I said. If you got to, order them. This is my sample. Here's the sample. Gave it to him. He has a sample piston of what I want. So this is compatible with this head. This head cost enough. I'm upset that I had to spend so much. I wish I bought it through the website, because then the parts would have all been about the right price. I wish I actually bought the other ones. But 4 pistons, 3 pistons here currently, but there's meant to be 4 in this box. 4 pistons and a packet of rings, $270. Buy it through Supercheap or another website. It costs $800 for these. And I'll be honest, they're not all bad on prices. Sometimes they're actually cheaper. But in that case, that was unbelievable. I love Supercheap. I'm not ridiculing them, but I feel like if they ever watch this video, I feel like they could evaluate how people will go about the market now. Because people can't afford this. And people need something. They're not going to buy stuff if it's not affordable to them. If they can't do it, they can't do it. And if they find another source, they're going to get upset with Supercheap. I'm not upset with Supercheap. I love going there. It's fun to go in the store and find something that pulls your eye to it and it's like, I need that. But we have to also respect the fact that the reason their prices are sometimes high is because they got to pay staff wages. They have to make a profit somewhere. And that's why I bought these things, because those things there, I believe these 2 did not come from Supercheap, because I had to, this at Supercheap would have cost me $32. It cost me the same price as one of those when I buy 2 at another store. So I bought these 2 at another store. This one cost more than this. This one will cost $32 at Supercheap to order in, because I have to order it in. And these all cost $13, but only when I buy 2, otherwise they're full price. I bought those 4 cans. I just bought a whole box of degreaser. Normally when we buy it from Supercheap, it's $12 a box when we buy it. That's what I said. I always wait for that $12 box deal. But this time around, we're getting finer on our degreaser, because you need a lot for a lot of projects. And this box was just full yesterday. Look how empty it is. And I've also pinched some from here. That was scary how much I had to use to solve a problem. So, I've used too much degreaser at the moment. I'm just pointing that out. If you guys think it's too much stuff, you can never have enough stuff. That's what I'm always going to say. You can never have enough of it, because you're always going to eventually use it for something. When something goes wrong, just note, the box of degreaser is only for the one project currently. There is still 2 gearboxes on the list of things to be done. There is still the suspension to be done. There is still potentially the Tata Telco line to be done. Now, I'm not going to make any promises I can't keep. This video is overly long right now. But I'm tempted to look into making a whole new gear set. So I can have custom gears inside it. I could make them lighter but stronger. I could potentially make them factory sort of standard, but I can't because these are cast. And because they're cast, they've got machine work done to them. They like make a blank, machine the blank, and then they're done. There's your part. But there's also the potential they might have even hardened the cast iron. And it's all this technical mumbo jumbo that you have to go through in order to make your parts. Make this wrong, it will cost you. I mean, look, this is a cheap part. If I make this any stronger, what do we think is going to happen? that load could transfer somewhere else or not. There's all the thought process that I'm going to have to put through if I make any new gears. So if I can't get a new set of round tooth gears, I'll probably end up make a whole bunch of them, and they're expensive online. You can get them for $160 a piece. Brand new, 160 bucks. And that's mostly because they're from other countries. If I make them here, then those gears might actually cost less if I can find a viable way to manufacture and make them better than new, better than genuine. Because if I was to make it, they probably wouldn't have these slots in them, which would be bad. Okay? So what would I do to make them? I could make it multi-piece, but that... don't know. It's one of those things I'm going, Some people want to advance their timing, but the risks there are too extreme. We'll have to save that for another day, maybe. But I think if I made a gear set, the idea would be to make it so that it can advance timing. Sometimes is good, sometimes it's bad. I have to do the homework before I do the thing, because some people want to do that. Or I just set them to standard dimensions and all that stuff and leave it at that. Now you also have to remember that dot at the top of the gear. If you don't put that in the right spot, timing's off. So, I'm not really sure what I want to do, whether I want to make my own, because I feel tempted to just buy them. Because they're already made, I don't have to set up machines that don't have all the tooling, meaning I have to buy the tooling, which I might use once in my life. If I find the viable way to use those machines, if they are viable and Dad lets me and not give me crap about it, then that's cool, we'll do that. But until then, I feel like we need to finish this project and get this going, and the most viable way at the moment is to just get another gear, get a set of belts for those gears and just whack it all together. Anything spare off the white one, sorry, I keep calling it white one, not the white one. Anything spare off the Triton MJ 1995 with the 4056 that we do need, we pull off and we put it on. There's only one catch. There's only really one catch. I'm not sure what to do about this. I have this pump here, the Zexel, and that's a bit of a problem. That's one catch. Number two catch, this is an incomplete manifold. Number three catch is there is an exhaust manifold there, but has spiderweb cracks in it, meaning if I got the turbo off mine, put it there, no guarantees on how that will work because of problems. So what I'm going to be doing, sadly to say, I'm going to be salvaging parts off of mine. I'm going to be wrapping mine up, potentially leaving the oil in the sump, and make sure that I look after it as best as I can with what I've got, and take the gear set off mine, put it on the new motor, and use it as it is. The good news is, if I break another one of these gears, smash it to pieces, I've only got this gear. I'm only one gear short because someone took the injection pump off. This has a shared keyway, so I'm not sure if there's a new key with the head. I don't believe there was, so I have to get a new key for it. That tells a story though. When the keyway is sheared like so, it tells you a story, and I believe this motor kind of might have blown its head off and something went wrong. I reckon that is why there's these particulates in the oil, because that was the story I was getting from this one gear. This is the right gear, this is off that motor, but I also have to check this gear is still good. Compared to mine, this one actually looks decent, because there's no cracks in it. Mine had cracks in it here. This one here, they're pretty much the same, except for the fact that round versus square, I can convert that into this. Simple as that. But anyway guys, thank you for letting me ramble about this stuff and thinking about things, and for being watchers and supporting this channel and supporting me with my projects that I have to get done. Once this project's done, I'll have a reliable enough car that I believe I could take on any journey just about for a little while, but I have to be concerned with the next thing that's going to go, which is the gearbox. The differentials normally don't go for a very, very long time, so mine is still really good and it feels solid. I'm going to leave the video at that. Thank you everyone for watching. This is Michael Mechanical, and I'm signing off for today, which is Saturday. And I hope you all have a nice weekend, and I hope you will enjoy Easter. Until then, I got work to do. Take care everyone.